YouTube? Curtain6693 here to bring you gaming and anime news, as well as anything that I find interesting. Well, today I want to talk about some bullshit that's on my iPad right here, talking about apparently this associate producer of Saints Row. Her name is Kate Nelson. She basically criticizes THQ's emphasis on porn stars for the earlier Saints Row games, because THQ developed like the first three, I think, and before they went out, and now I think there's some new producers. I think her name is Deep Angel or something like that. I don't remember the name, but they're new guys who's working on it with Voliton. But this Voliton producer, this is what she says. I did not always love how much THQ put an emphasis on porn stars, Nelson explained. In Saints Row 2 and 3, there was an emphasis on the penthouse girls, and earlier Tara Patrick. I think it's important in marketing games to make sure that the essence of the game is what's being marketed, and I think the porn star angle didn't really fit in with what Saints Row is at heart, which is a parody. We like to poke fun. And basically, he goes on talking about how the porn star Tara Patrick, she was in the DLC Ultra Explodes, and she was also a special producer, and she helped with marketing of the game, and she was basically saying that someone who has no industry experience was in a role that is sexualized as producer of our project, or saying that the penthouse girls are our QA staff. I can't see the humor in that angle of promotion, but for me, that's the line where it really gets into reality. This is the problem so basically, she's criticizing them because they're using porn stars, and she doesn't feel like they should be the ones, having a say so. But let me explain something to you, Kate Nelson. And not to sound, this is not in any sexist thing, but I just think it's hilarious that it's a woman saying this. But let me explain something to you. I'll put it to you like this. You want to sit there and criticize, them using an emphasis on porn stars and, and all the sexualism that was in the earlier Saints Row games. But look at it for what it is, right? Saints Row, to many people, is known as a parody to GTA. Or a parody to to free roam, over the top violence. What are the main components of games like that? You have guns, drugs, over the top violence, and sex, or a sex appeal of that nature. What does Saints Row do? It makes a parody of that. So you have guns, over the top violence, language, drugs, and sex. That is the point. That is the point of the Saints Row games. And so that just doesn't make sense to me. And then also, you guys want to sit there and throw in giant dildos and BDSM clubs. Saints Row's been doing this for years now, and now you want to come back and complain? Bullshit. Like I don't understand. I don't understand the logic behind it. And then let me throw something else at you. You sit there and you think that your Saints Row 4 project, is so much better. Well, no offense, there are actually a lot of fans out there, maybe not everyone, but I know there are a lot of fans who do disagree with the new direction that Saints Row is being taken. There are a lot of people who are saying it's not even Saints Row anymore. I mean, back in Saints Row 2, you had these different gangs, and it felt more like you're the head of this crew, and you're taking out these gangs with interesting storylines. It felt like GTA, just a little bit more loose, but people like that. People wanted that over the top stuff. But Saints Row 4, I kind of started to see it as a Saints Row 3, which is why, in my opinion, a lot of people consider Saints Row 2 to be the better version. But I kind of started to see it as Saints Row 3, but it's really apparent in Saints Row 4. It's kind of turning into a white nerds game. It is. Don't get me wrong, aliens, superpowers, I don't mind that being in a DLC. But for a whole game of Saints Row based off that, it sounds kiddish, it sounds childish. It's just not Saints Row. There's a difference. You may say, well, Saints Row is meant to be a parody. That's true, but at the same time, there are just it's just it's going off into a whole different field now. It's not even Saints Row anymore, in my opinion. You know, you can slap Saints Row 4 in there, but honestly, it looks like fucking, what's that game, Prototype? It looks like Prototype mixed in with Crackdown. That's pretty much what it looks like to me. That, and they just threw in superpowers and aliens. But that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like Saints Row. And then the whole game is based off an expansion that was meant to be in the Saints Row 3rd called Enter the Dominatrix or something like that. So, that's the main problem that I have with the game. You know, it's just, and also look, if you look at the graphics, they look pretty much the same. Also, today they just released on Saints Row 4 the inauguration station where you can create your character on Xbox Live and then upload them. I don't know if this is on PS3 or not, but I saw it on Xbox where you can make a character and you can upload it to the community so that way you can pull it out when you buy Saints Row 4. I made a character even though I don't plan on getting Saints Row 4, at least not until it gets cheap. I'm not paying $60 for that shit. I can tell you that right now. Boys are gonna say, but they have that out, and I'm like, a lot of, okay, there I can see some new customization. I can see some new things, and I understand that it's just the you know, just the customization, like it's before the game comes out, so I know they don't have everything in there. But even still, I will still say that it looks just like Saints Row the 3rd. It looks just like Saints Row the 3rd. The only difference is that there's a few extra customizations, and I can see a tiny bit of increase in graphics. Just a tiny bit, not anything like it's basically, it's not a huge step forward. It's really more of a step to the side, you know, on graphics. It looks a little bit better, but not enough to call it the next level. So I'm kind of disappointed in that. But I'm sorry, but Saints Row 4, it just looks like Saints Row 3 on a huge amount of crack. That's really what it looks like. And let me throw something else at you, with this producer Kate Nelson thing. She criticizes the earlier Saints Row games for having an emphasis on porn stars. Well, tell me why many people consider the earlier Saints Row games to be the better ones. Tell me that. Tell me why that's so. But you want to criticize them. No offense, and then also no offense. It's eye candy. It's fan service. It's sex appeal. That's what people like. That's what people like. Look at Mortal Kombat. Look at other gory fighting games. If you look at what's that one game? Soul Calibur. Like, if you look at every female character in the game, what do they all have? They all have like C to D size tits and bunch of ass everywhere, and like a bunch of fan service camera shots and stuff like that. The reason they do that, they did it on purpose. It is because people like that stuff. It is appeal. It is sexual appeal. It's fan service. That's what it's for. So I hate to break it to you, but that's the reality. If you want to get back in that, that's the reality. That's what people like. Look at like Bayonetta, like the game Bayonetta. I made a video about that previously. That game the entire game is a beat 'em up fan service game. That's pretty much what it is. GTA, they had a sex mini game in San Andreas. People like this. It's just that's what people like. That's what attracts people. Look at the game Catherine. That Japanese anime inspired game. That game is from the fan service. That's what the games are. That's pretty much what they're meant to do. So I don't know. I just kind of feel like I understand how she's saying like porn star is at the head of our staff, but no offense, but a lot of people like the earlier games better. I don't think they should be the head of the game, but I do think that they can be featured, because I know like Sasha Grey, she was one of the voices of Viola, whatever her name is, in the 3rd game, and I don't have any problem with that, because I've seen some people in the comment section on the IGN video, and they put it blunt. They said, "Who doesn't like porn?" And I can't fault them for that. Who doesn't like attraction? Why would you want to take that out? That's dumb. You had John Dildo's BDSM clubs and just a bunch of crazy sexual stuff in the game, but you want to get mad about porn stars now? Really? Like, and I'm just interested to see how good Saints Row 4 does good, if it does good or not. Was what I meant to say, but I don't know. I just think it is bullshit, and I understand where she's coming from, but I still do think that she needs to look at it from a different perspective. And I didn't. And when I said it's funny that a female is saying this, I'm not trying to sound sexist, but it's just the fact that I can see a female getting upset over something like this, like a girl saying, you know, oh, we got porn stars in the game, we don't want to put that in there, you know, because it puts a bad light on women. I mean, hey, it is. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's business. That's what people like. Whether you like it or not, that's just what people like. And I'm sorry. I mean, if while you working on the game where the main emphasis is on over the top violence and sexuality, if you cringe up just because they put sexualized icons featured in the game, that's the point, because people like it. I don't get it, but you know, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys care that they put porn stars into the game? Me personally, I really don't care. I mean, hey, it's, you know, whatever. How do you guys feel about Saints Row 4? How do you guys feel about what this woman said? How would you respond to it? Let me know. Rate, comment, favorite, subscribe. If there's anything that I left out that I missed, or anything concerning Saints Row that you want me to talk about, let me know, and I'll get back on that. But thank you, and have a good day. Current 6693 out.